I used to see quite a few comments like, the dodo would have been a great farm bird, they would be an amazing domestic bird, or even something like, they were a delicious bird that was too dumb and forgot to fly. I'm here to tell you that even if they didn't go extinct, we probably wouldn't be seeing dodos in our oven, and I'll explain why here on Deciphering the Dodo. Even though recordings of the dodo were limited, we do have a few accounts of what they tasted like. Many were negative. Foul tasting, tough and hard to digest. Unsavoury taste. Lacking flavour. And on the other hand, tough but good. Fat and easy to catch. These differences of opinion don't seem to apply to my back garden friends. Another problem that the dodo has is its clutch size, which is just one egg. Now let's compare that to chickens. Quite the difference in one laying year, as some chickens can lay over 300 eggs. But that's not really a fair comparison, so let's look at the red jungle fowl, which lays a maximum of 30, which is still considerably more. This low rate of reproduction means that dodos would have a slow rate of heritable traits that make them better suited to captive systems. But perhaps we should take a look at their closer relatives for a better comparison. Pigeons are very adaptable, and can have up to 12 eggs a year, and importantly have been domesticated for at least 5,000 years. Chickens have been domesticated for about 8,000 years. 340 years may not have been long enough for trait selection. But why is trait selection important if they were already big and docile? To answer this, we'll look at the dodo's closest living relatives, the Nicobar pigeon and the crown pigeons, both of which can be fairly tame when raised around humans. But you don't see crown pigeons in many homes or farms, because of their slow reproductive rate and relatively complex care. We know from accounts that dodos could be kept in captivity, but their longevity in these situations is unknown. They were likely prone to obesity and were never recorded breeding. Also, Mauritius has marked wet and dry seasons. Dodos likely coincided their breeding with climate and food resources. Being flightless is not much of a deciding factor either. Also, side note, dodos didn't forget to fly, they were physically incapable of flight. They were also likely no less intelligent than most other pigeons. It is also relatively easy to stop a bird from flying. Most domestic birds have flighted ancestors. Dodos would probably be more comparable to other island birds, even if they didn't go extinct. Birds which are not often seen outside of conservation settings. Now, let's talk about offspring. Chickens are quite mobile and can feed themselves soon after hatching, making them precocial, but pigeons are altricial, which means they stay in the nest and need to be fed by their parents for the first part of their life, making pigeons harder to raise in mass numbers. With advancements in technology, maybe one day people will see the dodo again, and given enough time, they may even be domesticated and selectively bred for certain traits. Maybe to have a curved beak, long neck and long legs, with a stiff, upright tail. Or perhaps to be small, with black and white laced feathers, and dark eyes. Or maybe to have dense curly feathers, with a curly head tuft, and a curly tail. Potentially even with no feathers on the neck, a naked neck dodo, with only a hood of feathers on the head. Perchance a white-faced dodo, with a blue and green beak. And conceivably even a giant dodo, covered in dense plumage and extra feathers. Recently I've seen increased understanding about the true story of the dodo thanks to an increase in quality videos. I can only hope that the people of the future see these birds as companions instead of a food source.